Hey there, and welcome to Inside Butler Football. I'm your host, SEVER. The Butler football team held off conference opponent Marist this weekend with a great 17-14 on the road victory. In a second, we'll be joined by Butler co-defensive coordinator and linebacker coach Tim Cooper and offensive line coach Kyle Connor to talk about last week's game and take a look at the games ahead. Stay with us on Inside Butler Football. We welcome you back to Inside Butler Football. Butler co-defensive coordinator and linebacker coach Tim Cooper and offensive line coach Kyle Connor join us today. Thanks for coming. So, Butler executed big plays when they needed to. Overall, both sides of the ball played pretty well, especially the defense. They were able to limit Marist to just 2 touchdowns and 1 possession in the fourth quarter, and they stopped a late comeback. So, Coach Cooper, in your opinion, what did the defense do well throughout the entire game?
Well, I think probably the number one thing we're able to do is we played pretty well against the run, and when you make a team one-dimensional, which we got to, it kind of limits some of the stuff that they can attack you with. And I think that's one of the biggest things we did. It's the first time we held somebody under 100 yards rushing this year. I think it was at 96. And just being able to make Marist one-dimensional was probably the best thing we were able to do.
Now, the Butler offense also played really well, too. They were able to move the ball consistently down the field in the run and the pass, ran for somewhere around 200 yards and passed for about 241 yards. And 5 out of the 10 offensive drives were 10 plays or more. So going against Marist, who's the number 1 defense in the league, Coach Connor, how does this reflect upon the Butler offense and their ability to rise to the occasion?
Well, I think it all starts with, the week of preparation. We had a great, Tuesday and Wednesday practice, and they did some different stuff on defense, playing a 3-down front and stuff that our guys were able to block throughout the week, and our guys have played well in each game that we've played this year. We just got to continue with the rest of the season.
Now, the only 2 lapses that happened in the Butler defense were 2 big pass plays that resulted in 2 Marist touchdowns, but throughout the season they've done a pretty good job of keeping these big plays to a minimum. So Coach Cooper, can you talk about what happened on these plays and what the team, takes away from making big mistakes like those?
Well, I think it just goes back to doing all the little things right and paying attention to the detail. One was a kind of an out and up or stutter and go on a boot pass that is just a result of someone's eyes not being in the right spot. He took his eyes off the receiver for a second and he turned up the sideline, and that was a big pass. The first one we gave up. And then the second one is, he was there. It was just a result of bad body position. He's on it, but it's the detail. Instead of being, on the back shoulder, you need to be on the other shoulder. So just those little things, and which you don't like to give up those plays, but they're all correctable things that we're working on, and we'll get better at.
Okay. Now, as we talked about before, the Butler offense, they were able to put drives together, but they were only able to come up with 17 points. Coach Connor, do you think this is something the offense needs to improve upon?
Oh, absolutely. We've moved the ball better than, especially on Saturday, than having 17 points. We've had to settle for a couple field goals when we missed one of them. We had the ball 1st and goal on the 5 that we got to be able to punch in and get 7 points instead of 3 on. But we work on it every Wednesday in the scoring zone, 25-yard line in, and it's the emphasis in practice, and we got to be better at it. But we've been the defense has done a great job keeping us in games and playing really well and being able to win low-scoring games.
Yeah,
like
it's
that,
good complementary football.
Mm-hmm.
So with this win against Marist, Butler's currently 4-0 in the conference, and you're about halfway through your schedule for conference play. So, Coach Cooper, what does the team need to do in the next couple weeks to keep improving and so they can have success in the PFL?
I think the big thing, and Coach Voris talks about it all the time, is just kind of stay in the moment and concentrate on the task at hand. I think you just can't get ahead of yourself, and you just talk about winning the day, be a champion, be a champion on Wednesday, win on Wednesday, and if you just do the little things, the end of the week, that'll all kind of take care of itself. just stay in the moment and you concentrate on the task at hand. I think that's the biggest thing. And again, Coach Vorst does a good job about talking about staying in the process and one step at a time, one game at a time, one play at a time. And I think, as long as we stay focused, as a team and units, on the task at hand, we'll be okay.
All right. Well, we're going to take a look at some highlights from this game. Here is wide receiver Brendan Shannon's touchdown pass in the second quarter. Coach Connor, can you talk about this play and how Brendan was able to get the open look?
Well, we had run this play in the previous weeks, and we had always hooked him up at 5 yards, and we kind of did a little stutter and go here to kind of get the defense to suck down on the hitch and just ran by him. It was a great catch and throw by Brendan and Matt Lancaster.
Here, this next one, on the final drive in the fourth quarter, senior wide receiver Tom Judge comes up with a big reception. So, Coach Connor, in the scheme of things, how does this reception impact the game? And can you talk about the playmaking ability of your wide receivers?
Oh yeah, this is one of the biggest plays in the game, because this allowed us to keep the drive going and keep the ball for the rest of the game, and not make our defense have to go back on the field. And Tom Judge is a heck of a player. Obviously, a guy who changed from quarterback to wide out, and he's done a great job. He's made a bunch of big catches and completely bought into what we're trying to do. And I think our wideouts have played great, this entire year, blocking on the perimeter and as well as making big catches like Tom did right there.
And this last one is a sack by Jeremy Stevens early in the fourth quarter. This is one of 5 sacks of the day, and I found out he was recently named the PFL Player of the Week. So, Coach Cooper, can you talk about this play and how vital it was so late in the game?
Well, it's huge. I mean, it's huge from the standpoint of, field position, momentum, all those things, but it's really where we're only rushing 3 guys and we're dropping 8. And anytime you can, get some pressure on just rushing 3 guys is huge for a defense, because you don't feel like you have to sacrifice any coverage. And, and it's a big confidence builder for us, in those things. And it just was, this was a huge play for us on defense.
The change of season at Butler University means only one thing for students and faculty: homecoming. The 2012 edition has a board game theme. All the different student housing units will have a specific board game to center their specific theme around. The week is full of events for the student body to partake in. Monday featured free games of laser tag off campus. Tuesday offers life-size gaming and human foosball. Wednesday is dress-up day. Thursday is Yell Like Hell, the annual competition inside Hinkle Fieldhouse, and the judging for lawn decorations. Saturday features the parade through campus and, of course, the football game. The Dogs host Morehead State this year. Junior Kevin Cook is excited for the challenge.
Really excited for this week, game against Morehead. We started 4-0 this year, and for homecoming, it's our first night game, so really excited for everyone to come out there to get a W and continue our conference to be PFL champions this year.
Junior Nathan Holt is excited for the week's events and to see more alumni on campus.
Obviously, they're wanting to come back and show that love through the homecoming week and the activities that homecoming possesses.
Assistant Athletic Director Bill Lynch is also excited for the week.
Well, I think homecoming is a special week on a college campus, and it revolves around the fall sporting events and certainly homecoming football games. So we're excited about this week and having so many of our alums back on campus. Here at Hinkle Fieldhouse, we have a soccer game and a volleyball game on Friday night. We have football on Saturday night, and then again volleyball and soccer again on Sunday. So it's going to be a busy weekend for us.
The week is sure to be memorable for all involved. I'm Matt Rhinesmith.
We welcome you back to the Get to Know Your Bulldogs segment of the show. This week, we're getting to know redshirt junior tight end Paul Shortino. Paul, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So, Paul, where are you from?
From Wilmette, Illinois. It's about 20 minutes north of Chicago.
And where did you go to high school?
Went to Loyola Academy.
And when did you first start playing football?
I think I first started playing, in 4th grade, and kind of stopped playing football for a little bit, picked it back up in 8th grade, and then obviously played all the way out through high school.
Now, coming out of high school, where were the top colleges that you were looking at? Where were you really being actively recruited by?
I was looking at a lot of schools out at the East Coast, actually. A couple of the Ivy League schools, Georgetown, Holy Cross, a couple of Patriot League schools. All of them were non-scholarship. Butler kind of came into the picture during my senior year, and the more I learned about it, the more I liked it. So it kind of came down to Butler, Holy Cross, Drake, and then Valpo.
Now, what specifically made Butler stand out from those other groups of schools that you just named?
Part of it was the location. I wanted somewhere that was going to be close to home, so it's not too far. And then, I knew this program was on the rise. I talked with the coaches. It seemed like they were heading in the right direction, and wanted to be a part of it.
Now, when you came on your first official visit, what about the guys and the team really made you want to be a part of it?
It was mostly the people I met, the guys that were here, the guys I hung out with, that took me around campus. I knew that they were good people here, and I said, if I'm going to be in some place for the next 4 years, I want to be around guys that are like me, who are motivated and are driven towards success. So it was mostly the people that I met while I was here.
Great. Now, after doing some research, you've had a little interesting time here at Butler. Can you explain what happened?
Certainly have. Came in obviously as a football player, redshirted my freshman year. I was lucky enough to play a little bit my sophomore year, and then in the spring of my sophomore year, I got a concussion during spring practice and missed the rest of spring ball. Couldn't do physical activity for a couple months. It wasn't until halfway through the summer I got cleared to just work out again. So in that time, after talking with doctors and looking at my history with head injuries, didn't think I was going to play football again, which was a tough call to make, because obviously I love football and I love all the guys on the team, and obviously it's something I wanted to keep doing. So said if I can't be playing football, I'm going to try something else. So tried walking on to the baseball team that fall my junior year. Played during the fall season, had a great experience, met a lot of new great guys, and things didn't really work out the way as planned. So thought about student coaching with the football team. Once I decided I was going to be at Butler for the rest of my college career, I said if I'm going to be here, I might as well try and play again. So sat down with Coach Forrest, had a couple talks with him. Obviously had to talk to the doctors. I was able to convince them to let me to play again, give it one more go around. So came back in the spring of my junior year, played all the way out through spring ball, made it through camp, and then so unfortunately injured myself again right before our first game. So it's been kind of a wild ride. Hasn't really turned out the way I planned, but it certainly has been a great experience, and it certainly taught me a lot.
You've gone full circle, geez.
Absolutely.
How did all of those injuries, how frustrating was that for you as an athlete? You have really tested your mental toughness.
Yeah, it's certainly frustrating. You work so hard for so long, and in football you get 11 games, and there's no other sport like it where you're playing 11 games a year, and you work the whole off season for those games. So to get injured and to miss really 2 seasons of football is certainly frustrating, but there's really nothing you can do about it. It's part of the game. You got to keep working. Right now I'm rehabbing to get back healthy. So while it is frustrating, you understand it, and you just kind of got to roll with the punches and move on.
Now, after spending time outside of the program, what did you learn about the team, and what made you ultimately want to come back?
I certainly learned a lot about the team. Learned a lot about my teammates. Realized that I had really made some really close friends, and some of those relationships obviously came to the forefront when things didn't work out with baseball. When I originally stopped playing football, every day guys would come up to me and say, "Hey man, how's baseball going? How you doing? How you feeling?" When I first got hurt. So having the support from just not only my teammates but the coaches as well really meant a lot to me, and kind of really shows the kind of people that are here and the kind of kids we have on our team.
Great. Now, so you have a cast.
Yep.
So can you talk a little bit more about exactly what happened to get you injured there?
Yeah, it was 3 days before our first game. Getting ready to go to Western Illinois, play our Thursday night game, the opener, and we were practicing. Went to go catch a pass, kind of came down a little funny. My cleat kind of caught the turf in an awkward position, and when I came down, I ended up snapping a fibula bone in my leg, tore a ligament in my ankle, and trainers looked at it, said, "Yeah, it's probably broken." So I went to the hospital, and later that night performed surgery. Got a couple of screws and a plate in my leg now, so it's been a long way back just to get into this boot. I was on crutches for about 6 weeks, so finally off those, starting to walk around, put some weight on it. So it's feeling better, and just taking it one day at a time, staying positive, and doing everything I can to help the team, from an injured standpoint.
Absolutely. Now, as you look back on your career, what has been one of the most memorable moments as being part of the Butler football program?
I'd have to say my sophomore year was my first start. It came 4 games into the season. We were playing Campbell, and I was an offensive lineman. I wasn't always a tight end. And Andrew Huck threw a screen pass that got tipped at the line of scrimmage. I was able to catch it, so ran for a couple yards, eventually got tackled. But to be able to catch a pass as an offensive lineman, it's every lineman's dream. So that definitely stands out as my most memorable moment, I'd say.
Oh, good. Now, what things are you hoping to take away, or will you take away from the program as you graduate in May?
There's certainly a lot I'll take away. First and foremost, the relationships that I have here. Those will last me a lifetime. I'll also take away everything that the coaches have taught me in terms of work ethic and discipline. I came to Butler, didn't really know what to expect, and it really taught me how to work hard and how to apply myself, and a lot of that is due to the coaches and the football program.
Now, how would you best describe your time spent as part of the team?
It's been wonderful. Like I said, it hasn't really gone as planned, but that's been okay. I wouldn't trade this experience for anything. It's certainly been interesting, but all the guys have had my back, the whole time. The coaches have too. So to be able to receive the support I've had from them, and to be able to be part of a team that's on its way up and doing some great things has been really special.
And as you get ready to exit the Butler program, what advice would you give to underclassmen or incoming players?
I just tell them that you're going to get out of it what you put in. There's no reason why you can't win a championship every year. It just depends on how hard you work and how focused you are in the off season, and obviously executing and putting that work to use once the season comes around. So stay on top of your studies so that when you're out at football practice, you have nothing to worry about but football, and winning a championship is the only thing on your mind.
All right, well, thanks, Paul. Good luck to you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, after this, we're going to take a look at next week's homecoming game against Morehead State. Stay with us on Inside Butler Football. Back here on Inside Butler Football. So it's going to be a big game for the team and big week for the team as they prepare for their homecoming game against Morehead State on Saturday. Now, there's a lot of hype and excitement that surrounds homecoming. So, Coach Cooper, how do you think this added excitement is going to play into practice this week?
Well, I think it certainly, you can feel it. I mean, everybody's got a little extra pep in their step, and you can feel the excitement around the game. It's always, as a coach, you worry about, distractions and things like that. So you got to be, you got to jump on a little bit more as far as paying attention to details and those things. But it adds a lot of excitement, and you can feel it.
Now, Coach Connor, what does Morehead State do well that could possibly test the offense, and what are you going to have to do to overcome some of those obstacles?
Well, they got 3 returning starters in the secondary, both corners and a free safety or back. So they're very good in the back end, and they also play multiple fronts, up front, a 4 down, a 3 down, and then kind of a 5 down, what we call a jam front. So we'll have to be prepared for all the fronts and the good personnel in the back end.
And last season, Morehead beat Butler in I think it was the last game of the season. Butler defense struggled. They gave up somewhere around 669 yards throughout the game. So, Coach Cooper, with that in mind, how do you expect your defense to prepare for a rematch against Morehead State?
Well, I think when that happens, you certainly don't need to talk about a lot of motivation and things like that. I mean, we gave up I think we gave up 9 big plays last year, which was more than we've given up this season. Total. So, the big thing is we've got to do a good job of making them one-dimensional, stopping the big play, kind of as we talk, cap the field, and as long as we do those things and in our preparation, and like I said, when you come off a game from last year like that, the motivation certainly should be there.
Okay. Well, good luck this week. We thank you both for joining us on our 7th episode. That will do it for this week's episode of Inside Butler Football. Be sure to tune in next week. Thanks for watching.